Hello. Hi, Conscious Creators. It is Conscious Creators Toolbox. It's time for the session. And welcome in. Hope everybody's here or coming in. I'm going to wait a few minutes. Say hello. It's 7 o'clock. I think it's 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock on my time, anyway. 7 o'clock here. Gonna wait a few minutes and see if we're gonna get some folk coming. I think we're going live now. Hello, J Moss. She's watching. How you doing, girl? Good evening to the Conscious Creators. How's everybody doing tonight? How is everybody doing tonight? We're going live. We are live. The Conscious Creators. How's everybody doing tonight? Gonna wait a few minutes. We're gonna have a few announcements before we get started. So it is Thursday, May the 14th, 2020. Hope everybody's well. I'm gonna turn this down. There you go. Anyway, we're gonna wait just a few minutes. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. It's Thursday, and usually on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, we're kicking off our Conscious Creators Toolbox, and it's an opportunity for conscious creators and co-creators with the Creator, the universe, God, our source, the Most High. It's an opportunity to fine-tune some of our creative abilities and our creative powers. We've spent some time talking about our feelings and talking about energy. We talked about intention. We talked about clarity and focus. And we talk about, all those things that help us manifest and create the life that we desire, the life that we dream about, the life that we would like to have, that we want. So tonight we're going to be talking about tolerance. Tolerance, and I call it a first cousin or a close relative to love. And of course, love is definitely one of our creative powers. Love, gratitude, love is probably it is the strongest of all powers of any type. Love, it has the highest vibration of any. It just vibrates off the chain, y'all. So, love is the utmost creative power. But we talk about all of them. We just kind of take some time. We usually take one a month. We look at one of our powers or abilities each month during the session. And we look at it really close up, and we talk about what it is, and we talk about how we can make it a stronger, better power, how we use it to create what what it gives us the ability and the power to do, the know-how to do. So, but tonight we're going to be talking about tolerance. We started last week. We defined it, and tonight we're going to take a look at what it looks like when we're actually demonstrating it and just being tolerant and using it as a power, using it as an ability. Somebody asked me, I think somebody called me and wanted to know, how is tolerance a creative power, and what does that have to do with creativity? Well, it is. It is an ability, and it is a power that we should have, and it should be. Well, first of all, we know that Creator has it. God, universe, source, the great I am, is very tolerant. He, the ability to be tolerant, as we talked about last week, or the power to do it is a willingness, basically a willingness to allow the other person, your connection, the person that you're relating to, that you're speaking with, you're hearing from, give them an opportunity to express and demonstrate their personal beliefs, their what they believe in, and their practices, and do it in a way that is accepting, and we're not judging them, or we're not categorizing it, or we're not putting a flavor to it, or any of our spices, or any of our intentions, or thoughts to it. We open ourselves up to listen and to hear what the other person says. So we defined it last week. So we're going to talk a little bit more about it in a bit. I'm going to go on and make some announcements. Tonight, tonight is May 14th, 2020. And glad to have everybody here with me. I hope everybody's having a good week. I hope everything is going well and you're making it through the quarantine. I think, personally, I think we're getting ready to flip the switch a little bit and kind of move toward kind of a normalcy or a new normalcy, a new norm. I think maybe, hopefully by the end of May, we may see a few more businesses, a few more companies open and available for us to actually go in and out. I did get my Starbucks this week. I had to drive through though, but that was okay. I did get it. I think that's the first time I've been out to get Starbucks since the quarantine, so it was kind of nice to have my green tea matcha. So that was nice. And I understand that some of the salons, and get this now, I think I could get a pedicure, maybe. I don't know. I'm not massage. I think some of the salons and barber shops and hair salons are open. I'm not sure of other places. I know some doctors' offices are taking limited appointments. I think if emergencies for sure, and so just call your doctors and see if they're available for you to see. My eye doctor, I talked about it last week that I need to have my eyes checked in, and I don't know. I guess my energy got to him, and I got an email on Monday. And it was this long list of, we are open, but these are our new routines. You have to go in and you have to go into a certain door and you have to, put on make sure you have a mask or put on a mask, or they have masks for you to put on. And then you have to be escorted to the bathroom and wash your hands. And then you come out and you sit in another quarantine area now that you're nice and clean. And if you have to get up and go anywhere, you have to wait for someone or ring a bell, have somebody come and take it. I says, I'll just wait and get my eyes checked after things are a little bit more open. It sounds like they're still a little bit queasy about the virus possibly being spread. So I think I'll wait, get those eyes checked, after things are a little bit more normal. I have a guest tonight. I have an audience, so you may hear some clapping or some rah rah rah, because I have an audience tonight. I'm gonna have somebody to actually physically listen to me. I didn't have to go out and get any doll babies or stuffed animals or anything like that. I actually have somebody sitting on my sofa tonight, and look, she's already clapping, and I haven't even said anything. So anyway, so I'm glad to have somebody. I like people. I like to have noise and people around when I'm talking. But anyway, announcements. Here we go. First thing I would like to remind you that, make sure we got this, here we go. Yeah, we will continue to broadcast on Facebook, on the Facebook Live, and we will upload the video by Saturday morning. We're trying to do it by Friday night, but we will probably more than likely have it done by Saturday morning. The link, we will actually copy the link to our Facebook page on Saturday as soon as it's uploaded. We will probably discontinue the video. We'll leave the video up until we have it uploaded on our YouTube channel. But yeah, and that channel is active now, so go over there, check us out. Just look us up. It's the Conscious Creator. Look for the blue man, and subscribe to us. That's how you kind of get at the front row, or the top 10 or top million or whatever, thousands, I don't know, whatever they have. Thank you. Is subscribers and how often people look at your content there. So stop in, make sure that you like us and subscribe to us, and as soon as a donation button is there, hit that donation button and shoot us some dollars, shoot us some dineros. We will definitely use that to improve the channel. We're kind of new at it and slow to go, but hopefully we can even maybe hire a social. I think they call them a social media person that can actually maintain that for us. I am definitely not social media savvy. So I'm just still used to, being able to talk in the camera and not by myself off screen. So I'm still working on that. But anyway, we will use the funds to make the channel, just improve it, make it good, and make it better, and have good content. Maybe every now and again get some guests to come in to speak and share the spotlight with us. So if that donate button shows up, click it. No donation is too small. We take them all, and we will thank you in advance for your contributions and your support of our channel. Stopping in and listening to the content, listening to the videos is, that's the greatest. I mean, if you don't do anything but that will make me happy and proud. I love to see, 25 people, the past hour, listen to the videos, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. So we want you to come in and because we're sharing and we're teaching and we're providing information for you. And we would like for you to use it so it will benefit you. So stop in, subscribe, like us, listen to that content, and invite your friends to tell your friends about us as well. So we'll be doing that. So look for the video this particular session to be uploaded by Saturday morning, which should be there on Saturday morning. Let's see. Oh, something new we're going to start. We are going to start something called 7 at 7. And on Sunday night, 7 o'clock on Sunday night, we will do a brief 7-minute shout out at everybody, right. General information. We're going to be definitely, probably the main focus of that 7 for 7 on Sunday evening is at 7 minutes at 7 o'clock on Sunday evenings. We're just going to be talking about, I'm going to be giving you coaching, my life coaching techniques and some other skills, just some free general and gee whiz information. I think I don't know what we're going to be talking about this Sunday, but we're going to always be focusing on your ability to manifest, your manifesting, your ability to create the life that you want, to fine tune and hone in on those abilities and those skills that will get you out of the stuck zone into going on with those projects that you've got and getting unstuck and setting yourself up to succeed on whatever it is that you attempt to do. So we're going to be looking at manifestation mostly at 7 on Sunday evening. So look out for that. It will be probably not, if we tape it, if we record it at all, we will record it. Again, we'll do the same like we do the toolbox, the Conscious Creators Toolbox. We'll record it on the Facebook group and we'll upload it to the channel. And we'll probably do that right away. And we probably won't leave that one up not very long at all. So, but 7 o'clock on Sunday evening, stop in and see us. 7 minutes at 7 o'clock. We're going to be talking about manifestation. How do you manifest? What are some of those roadblocks? How do you get unstuck? How do you identify your limiting beliefs? How do limiting beliefs affect your ability to manifest what you want and what you want and what you dream about? Focusing. How do you go from a want to a desire to a dream come true? We're going to be talking about those steps, and we're going to share with you some of the techniques. We're going to talk about some tapping. We're going to actually do some demonstrating. 7 minutes. It's not a whole lot we can say, but I'm going to try to make it as informative as I can, so that you can benefit and you can be a super manifester. You can I say that learn how to use that magic. I want this, and you turn around and there it is. But anyway, so look out for that. So that's 7 for 7 on Sunday evening. Let's see, was there another one? Yes, we're still working on our virtual classroom. I don't have anything new to update you, so that's still in the making. We would like for you to believe with us and hold your intention that we will see that that happening. We will actually have some virtual classes and schedule some classes toward the late summer or early fall this year. So we're working on that. Yes, we're still working on that. Let's see. Da 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 da. And I think the last thing I want, well, that's it. But I would like to say I'm happy that you're here, and I'm feeling pretty good about you know, how we've been, you know, handling ourselves over the past few weeks with the quarantine. You know, talking to neighbors and talking to family members, we've kind of gotten accustomed to, you know, the restrictions and the limitations that this particular situation has afforded us. I would say to keep, you know, just maintain a positive attitude about it and continue to be positive about it. Be open-minded, not to scare anybody, but, you know, this is probably an event. I would say it's an event that may have a repeat button. I don't know. That's what I kind of hear. So just be, you know, just kind of, you know, act accordingly. You know, if it happens, we know how to, you know, maintain ourselves. We know how to set ourselves up to, you know, have, you know, be able to survive, you know, the worst of it. You know, I think that it happening in the first place was the worst of it, you know, and that beginning, that initiation, that initial stage of having to deal with all of this kind of threw us for a loop a bit. But I know that I've learned a lot. I've come to understand a lot. So many opportunities have presented themselves because of this. I mean, me even broadcasting on Facebook Live presented itself. Friends of mine, they're who have their Facebook group page lives and YouTube channels are just, you know, just they're sitting there just off the chain. They're just going, you know, crazy. Their subscribers and folk that are watching their content is just really going zoom. And other things too, you know, businesses have found out that it is possible to send my employees home and work from home, telework and commute, telecommute from home. And businesses are learning that there's different ways that they can do business, and it's working, you know, it's working out. I still get kind of amused a little bit when I go out and I see people wearing gloves, you know, the surgical gloves and the mask on. I wear one. I do wear them. I'm not as an advocate as most folk are, or avid about it as most folk are, but I do wear them. But it just kind of it's funny to, you know, to see that, and I wonder how long will we see it? I guess we may always see somebody walking around with a mask and some gloves on. I don't know. So don't be surprised at that. Don't be surprised. But anyway, I hope all the moms had a great Mother's Day weekend last weekend. I hope it was good. I enjoyed myself. It was a nice, eventful day. And yes, I did make movies. I made some videos and made movies because it was the first of its kind. We kind of had to visit in stages and groups. We weren't all able to just kind of come in together because of other things that were going on. But yeah. But I hope you all enjoyed it as well. I would like to do a shout out to all the high school and college and university graduates that's coming up for graduation this term. I know that they're not able to march and have the normal celebrations, but I'm hoping that as a family you will again make a unique memory for this year for them. I was driving to past one of the high schools here in my area, out here in Cobb County, Georgia, USA. I passed a high school, one of the high schools, and along the roadway they had pictures. They had posted signs of pictures of all the graduates that was all up and down the street, and I thought that was pretty. They hadn't done that in the past, and I'm sure that was part of COVID, a COVID symptom, I guess it was. But it was nice to see that, and I don't know. I didn't know any of the kids that were graduating, but I was cheering for them and all happy for them. So if you're graduating, if you have family members that are graduating, celebrate. Make it as celebratory as you possibly can. It's a great accomplishment, and a shout out to the parents as well, because you are graduating too. You don't get to march this time, but you still get to celebrate your accomplishments. Seeing those kids graduate is an accomplishment. So congratulations, everybody. So I think that is all of my announcements. Yep, that is it. Okay, so tonight we're talking about, we're going to continue to talk about tolerance. Last week, like I said, we just find it. We talked about what it was as a definition, as defined as tolerance, and so tonight we're going to look at how it looks. How it looks. What's the characteristics of a person that's tolerant, or that demonstrates, or exhibit, or behaves in a tolerant, or behaves in a tolerant way? How do they look? I think it was a post that I posted last week. I think on the group page, and it was a quote by the Dalai Lama, I believe it was, and I thought, he's probably the best example that I know of someone that's tolerant. Along with, I think we had some other folks such as Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was another person that, I guess, if there was a picture to go with the word tolerance in the dictionary, these folk may be a picture, an example of tolerance. Mother Teresa, Dalai Lama. And I think there was a saying, there was a quote by, I believe it was, can't remember, but with another famous person. They all kind of, I thought about them when I was thinking about the characteristics of a person that's tolerant. And, they did come to mind, and it kind of really helped me really look at that list of characteristics and those traits that a person that's tolerant have. And I said, yeah, they fit the bill. They fit the bill. So let me see. Let me kind of pull myself together just a minute. Just a second here. Okay. Define when we talked about the definition of tolerance last week. I think that we said, or we defined it as, if I can find it, I want to just read the definition that we kind of came up with. Definition of tolerance. What did we say? Okay, here it is. We said that tolerance is, as a definition, did we say that? Okay, we define tolerance as the ability or the willingness to endure, I don't know if we used that word last week, but anyway, to endure the pain or the discomfort. That's really what tolerance means. Tolerance means to endure pain, discomfort. But we said it was the willingness to allow another person, the other person that you're communicating with, that you're sharing with, the opportunity to express. We indulge them. We give them that opportunity to express their belief and their beliefs and their practices, and we do it in an open way, where so as to demonstrate patience and tolerance and a willingness to just receive it, for just to allow that person to do it, but also with and I don't know if we talked about understanding, but to understand, to receive it, to understand it. We don't have to agree with it. We don't have to accept it and say that yay or nay, that's something that I believe in, that's something that that's me, I can feel you. We don't have to go there, or we don't have to say, nah, that's not what I know. I don't. That's not how we do it over here on my street. You just open. You leave yourself open to hear the person, to close off your thinking and your evaluating of it and your judgment of it. Shut that off and just open yourself up to hear it, to allow that person with patience and understanding and respect to just express it. And if that person asks you for a comment or your opinion, then you get that same opportunity. And again, it's being tolerant, as my grandma said, it's an opportunity, and other folks have said this as well. It's an opportunity to show people by being tolerant and by being, using tolerance as one of your skills. It's an opportunity for you to demonstrate how you want to be treated as an individual, as a person, as a human being. So we extend that same allowance to the other person. So that's what we said it was last week, and we said, and we also talked about a little bit about what other folks were saying about it, how they defined it, and what it meant to them in their lives. We used some of the quotes from other folk and we shared some of those, and we kind of talked a little bit about them. But tonight, again, I want to talk about what it looks like. What does it look like to be a person that can stand and listen and hear hard stuff? I mean, sometimes you're listening to people and they're expressing themselves, and after everything is said and done, you're like, wow. I mean, I could never. I mean, I'm totally opposed to that. That's, I'm not. That's not me. I mean, that's just total. I'm in total opposition of that, and that's totally contrary to what I believe in. It's total. That. I mean, that's your reality, but during that conversation and during that receiving of that information, you reserve that. You reserve that thought and those feelings. You just open yourself up to hear it and receive it. And when I was going through the characteristics and thinking about it, I asked myself, why is it so difficult to be tolerant, and why does it? And really, for me, and I can only speak for myself, and I would ask you to think about this for you. Why is it? It's easy for me to say I love you. I love you. I can say that all day, and I mean it. And I mean it. Darn it, I mean I love you. But I love you without thought. I love it without thought. But when I'm listening to a person and I hear something that is totally, that, oh my goodness, that's totally opposite of what I would believe, or I could never do that, and I didn't realize that. Why is it that it's difficult for us to hear those hard things and to shut ourselves off long enough to hear them out and just to receive it, just to receive it. Don't have to agree with it, because they're not, that's not part of tolerance. Tolerance it's not you're going to listen and you're going to agree. You're going to listen and I'm going to convince you of this. No, you're not listening to be convinced. You're not listening to be converted. You're listening out of respect. And for me, I would add, and I think that was one of the things, understanding was one of the things that was one of the pillars or the partners of tolerance, that acceptance and acceptance, understanding, and tolerance, where they were packaged deal. You can't have one without the other two. You can't have, you have, if you want to be tolerant, understanding goes along with it. Acceptance goes along with it. And that makes sense, because we listen to another person who's, especially if it's information or if it's practices or beliefs that are totally way in left field for us. I want to understand how they arrived at that belief and how it's affecting their lives, and give me the pros and cons. I mean, how great is it making your life, or how is it affecting you as a person and relating to the rest of your life, So we listen and we receive with to understand the person, and not that we're going to agree. Now that I understand, just because I understand does not mean that I will change my beliefs and I will believe that way. But now I get it. Now I understand, or I kind of understand better. And the thing too about being tolerant, and receiving it and seeking and understanding the process, it opens dialogue. It opens the dialogue. You have this, you have something to think about after it's all said and done. You can weigh and pass information back to them at some point in time and compare. So it keeps the dialogue open. But when you immediately hear something and say, nope, I'm not, nope, that's just not it. I ain't going there. And you shut it off. That's the end of that conversation, you know. Person gonna say, yep, nice knowing you, see you later, you know. I think I shared with you, I was in a store and I met this person and we would start talking and I don't know why religion comes up, you know, sometimes when you're talking, but you know, I guess he asked me where I went to church, I don't know, whatever, and I probably said whatever. He says, well, I'm a Muslim, and he wanted to know if that bothered me, and I thought that was such a strange thing to ask, and I said, of course not, why would it bother me? But I guess because you can start a conversation, and if it's something that turns a person off, that's the end of the conversation. That's the end of the conversation. If you're not tolerant enough to hear the person out, that would end the conversation. That would end the relationship. That would, you know, that would put a limit to the relationship, I guess. But anyway, so it's a challenge, and I would say that it's a challenge that all of us should. I would recommend that all of us take. I'm gonna try not to use "you need to do this," but I think I would recommend that all of us take the challenge to fine tune or hone in on our skill, on our ability and our powers, to our ability to be a more effective, tolerant person, or more tolerant person. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a list of characteristics that I kind of came up. There were 10, I think at 9 or 10 characteristics that, you know, this is what tolerance would look like if you were wearing it, if you were a very tolerant person, or you were practicing tolerance. If you were practicing tolerance, of course, you would be patient. You would be patient toward a practice or an opinion, patient toward a practice and attention. Get this now. I don't want to lose you. Tolerance would look like this. It would be patience toward a practice or opinion or a belief that you disapproved of, that was way out in left field for you. But you would be patient enough and tolerant enough to hear it out, to listen to it. Okay? You know, you agree to, I mean, you kind of agree to disagree, I guess, is what you do. You know, you just up front, you know, you may hear something that's going to make you a little queasy or make you a little nervous, or you know, you're going to go home scratching your head and, you know, maybe wondering. But those few minutes that person is speaking and sharing that with you, you are going to just openly listen, and you're going to receive it without expressing your opinion or your judgment. So it takes patience to do that, because we don't always listen to hear for understanding. We usually listen to respond, or we listen to evaluate, or to contrast, or to compare. You know, so tolerance requires that we throw those habits of listening out and develop another habit or another skill or another way of listening, and that is open. I'm going to hear something that you know, it's going to be way out in left field for me, you know, but I'm open to that. I'm open to it. I'm not going to I'm not going to agree. I'm not going to debate it. It would be nice debatable material at some point in time, but for the, you know, initially, I'm just going to listen. I'm just going to receive it. So a tolerant person is a patient person. Now, I think there was a quote that said something to the effect that, let's not mistake tolerance for patience, because it is not patience. It's not you know, you can't replace patience with tolerance. It requires a degree of just a degree of acceptance and understanding. Patience, you need it to kind of shut yourself down for a minute. Stop, close your, get into the present. That's a good way to do it. Get in, use mindfulness, get into the now, into the moment. And, forget about what you knew yesterday about this. This is an empty, here I am, empty cup, and just fill me up. That kind of attitude is tolerance. Okay, and it says here, tolerance, and I kind of wondered about this one. Tolerance allows for the spirit and principled debate. And then I'm going to read this because I thought, okay, I'm not going to debate immediately, when I receive it. Well, your well-founded belief deserves to be heard. If I have a belief that I'm strong, I feel strong about, and I'm sharing it with somebody, I just want you to hear it. I don't want you to, I just want I want the opportunity. I would like the opportunity to express this belief or this opinion. without you stopping me in the middle of it and saying, "Oh no, 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 have you thought about it?" No, 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 no. Just allow me to express it, and I'm not asking you to agree. I'm just sharing with you. This is my belief. It's like the gentleman was saying to me that I'm a Muslim. When he turned around and asked me if I had a problem with it, then I guess it was open for debate. I don't know, but usually we just we want the opportunity to express what we believe without people judging it, or whatever we do to it. So it does allow for a spirited and principled debate, but that's after you've received it with respect and with patience and with the willingness to seek an understanding of what they're saying. Not understanding to agree with it, or not understanding to be a convert it or whatever, but just to understand that person a little bit better. Remember, I think I reminded you of what Lincoln would say about a person. He says when he finds somebody he does not like, he makes it a point to get to know them. So if you don't like something that you heard somebody else believe, just take the time to understand it better, to get to know what it's all about. I know when I was raising my kids, if they would tell me that they didn't like something or somebody, they would have to tell me why. You don't like it? Well, why not? And not that, I just wanted to make sure that you didn't like it. You weren't just saying that because somebody else told you that, or this is what the buddy said, or this is just I don't like the way it looked. Just get to know before you come up with that conclusion or that change or that attitude or that like or dislike. Okay. All right. Tolerance is the virtue that makes peace possible. This was my favorite. It was my favorite one. Tolerance is the virtue that makes peace possible. Tolerance allows people the liberty and personal freedom of self-determination. Tolerance promotes the free exchange of ideas. Okay, and if you think about being open and listening to a person, it does allow you the opportunity to hear something different than what you knew or what you thought or what you believed or what was told to you or what was taught to you all those years. This is the way it's been, But like my mom used lemon with her vanilla when she bakes the cake. Really? Oh, you don't put any lemon in a cake. Well, you know what? She does. It tastes pretty good. So then you learn how to make a cake a different way. Okay, you may want to try it. You may bake it, may come up with it, and you don't like it, but I think I'll stick to just a little vanilla. So it gives you an opportunity to add a little flavor to your life. I love diversity. We live in we're diverse. We're a diverse world. We're diverse people. We're a diverse community. Everywhere you look, everybody's diverse and different. And there must have been a reason why Creator, Source, God wanted us to all be individuals and different. It's fun. I think it's fun. I think having a variety and a diverse community of friends and associates and it just makes a better rainbow. Gives you more to talk about, more to be excited about. Once you learn my way, that's it. I want to, add some flavor to it. So I want to go over here and learn Jack's way and see how Jack is doing it. And I may like it, and I may mix it with what I'm doing and come up with a whole something new to do. So it does. It gives. It just opens up. It opens up. Freedom. It opens up the opportunity to express and to share and to be comfortable with the freedom, your freedom, and allowing the other person's freedom too as well. And you can appreciate it. You can begin to really see the benefit of diversity, the benefit of having more than one way to do things or one way to look at something and or one way to do something. So yeah. So tolerance is the virtue that makes peace possible, and it gives us an opportunity to promote and exchange and share ideas. And when we are sharing, and we can do it in spirit of tolerance and spirit of love and peace and understanding, it's going to create an atmosphere of fear. I mean, of peace, an atmosphere and a community of peace. And that's what we want. Ultimately, we want a world where we can exchange our differences and be okay with the exchange of our differences and sharing those differences, and not be intimidated or threatened by them or feel like you're being put off and have to be disrespected or dishonored because you want to do it this way, or this is what I believe. Okay. So tolerance is the virtue that makes peace possible. I like that one. And so it looks like, so we know that tolerance is patience. Tolerance is understand. I mean, tolerance is patience. A person that's tolerant is an understanding person that is open and respectful and understanding, accepting. They have patience and understanding, and they're open, and they're virtuous, and they are peace. They're peace seeking and peace loving and peace, and they demonstrate peace. So it's a peaceful person as well. And it's a respectful person, okay? Tolerance allows you to respect the person as you disagree with their idea, okay? Because like I said before, tolerance does not require you to change anything about what you believed before that person start talking. No. The only thing you're doing is you are respecting and honoring that person enough to allow them to speak and share. Speak and share. So hopefully you get that. This guy was not trying to convert me by telling me that he was a Muslim, I'm sure. And we don't have to worry about being converted. We don't have to worry about being somebody trying to convince us. Or I just want you to know how I think. I just want you to know what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling, baby. That's it. That's it. We don't. I'm not gonna have to make any changes or keep on doing what you're doing. But this is how I do it. So a person that is a tolerant person is a respectful person. That they respect and honor the other person. They flip the switch and they put their self in that person's place because at some point in their life they're going to want to be heard as well. They're going to want to express. I want to express my belief at some point. So I'm gonna practice and I'm gonna learn how to allow the other person to do it, so that when I get that opportunity, I'm gonna expect the same. Treatment. Tolerance is not. Oh, I already said that. Tolerance is consistent with your own well-founded convictions about truth and moral behavior. Now, this was kind of heavy for me when I was reading. I said, okay, it's consistent with my own well-founded convictions about truth and morals. And I'm going to read what it says. It says, when an opinion is expressed, ask yourself, is it true? Ask yourself, is it true? And proceed skillfully from there, making as much progress toward common. Now, this is after that person has spoken. After this person has spoken, you're listening. You're listening and you're getting the whole story, because you start running off. After they say, "This is what I believe," and then you start, stacking your, making your list over here, tick marks. You're gonna miss something. So you shut everything off. You hear it all out, and after it's all said and done, then you get the opportunity to meditate on it a bit, ponder it a bit, wonder about it a bit. Now, how close to truth is this to me, in my belief? That's later down the road. This way after the person is done talking. Thank you for listening to me, Jean. And now you can start, your wheels in that mind can start running, going off. So, yeah, you get an opportunity, a tolerant person gets a whole, you get the whole picture before you start comparing it and looking at it and seeking it and trying to understand it. Because you start trying to understand, the first 3 words of the sentence, and you're busy trying to understand it. Well, you're gonna miss the rest of the sentence. So let's get the whole sentence. Let's get the whole. Just get let the conversation finish, and then start. You can start figuring out, what you're going to do with it. Then you start digesting it or whatever it. So a tolerant person, that requires patience, because we don't listen. We do not listen to understand or to hear. We listen to respond. So we start responding. We start processing our answer after the first word. But tolerant people do not do that. Tolerant people get they just shut it off and listen until it's all done. They don't stop and interrupt them. They may at the end, they may say, "Now, I heard did I understand you to say such and such and such and such?" And then you wait for that response. And then you listen for that response, and you get that response. So okay, I just want to make sure I understood that you said that. So you're getting understanding. I listened for understanding. Did I understand that you said this? Or did you mean this when you said by just and that's good. That's when we go and start exchanging and start debating. That's not debatable. That's that open dialogue. That's opening that dialogue, and it's much more effective to discuss for understanding than it is for you just to respond to something they said. You want to understand it. And again, not necessarily to be converted or to buy into their, whatever. You just want to understand the person. I want to understand the person. I want to understand you. So that's what you're doing when you're a tolerant person. You're respecting that person enough to just want to understand them, want to know who they are. You might like them. Usually you do learn to like people when you understand them a little bit better. You may not be the best buddy, but you understand them and you kind of like them. They're okay. All right, let's see what else this is say. Tolerance, respect, context. Context. Not content, but context. And this is what it says about that. It says, if your grandmother, I love grandmother stories, by the way. If your grandmother makes a racial slur at a family gathering, and this is I didn't make this up, y'all. This is somebody else did this one. Family gathering, we can tolerate it as a reminder of the progress made during her lifetime. If a politician makes a racial slur at a town hall meeting, it's intolerable. And I thought this was this was funny to me. It was kind of funny to me because I was thinking it was nice grandma, and then the politicians, and you know what they say about politicians, but that's beside the point. Anyway, achieve both truth with grace. Okay. So, and again, I didn't quite understand that, so I'm going to have to meditate a little bit, kind of go into meditation a little bit on this one. But I think what they were basically saying is that consider the context, what's being said and why, what's being said, where it's being said, and by whom, grandmother, if she's 80 or 90 years old, well, things were totally different when she was 10 as opposed to now that she's 80. So, it's the whole, she's got a whole different probably perspective of race relationships from the time that she was 10 to 80, no matter which race she is, by the way. Politicians, on the other hand, you're a politician. I don't care if you're 80 or 10, you're out there doing your thing, and you're for the people, by the people, for the people. You're the man. You're out there representing, and when you're representing, you got to represent. You represent the whole shebang. You don't pick and choose. You're berry pick. You have to just you represent. So you have to understand that you represent. So I think that's what they meant when they meant context, is that who says it and what. And you put it in relationship to who they are and where they are and the purpose for the conversation in the first place. Anyway, so we're going to add another one, that tolerance respects or gives respect to the context of the conversation. And again, when you're listening, sometimes you hear things that's hard to hear. And if you're a tolerant person, or if you're practicing tolerance, you, even the things that it's going to gnaw you to the bone, or that you would, you're ready to smack somebody over the head about, saying, you hold that. You hold that. You put that aside. You don't have any emotions. You don't have any judgment. You just listen. And that's another thing that makes it difficult to be tolerant, because we are emotional beings, and we have feelings, and we react, and we want to, we want to express those reactions sometimes. We want people to know that you said the wrong thing. You insulted me, and that's not what I believe in. We want that. But a tolerant person would, even to the worst of people that you may think the worst of people, you would give them the respect to just hear them out. And then maybe punch them out. No, I'm kidding. Don't punch them out. No, but I think you get my point. I'm just being cute there. But yeah, we tolerance requires sometimes that we put aside. Well, most times we put aside the feelings and the reason that we would want to react, to just hear, to just listen, to just listen. And and you think about that. That's part of that peace, because it does take takes a strong constitution to stand. I mean, because I'm guilty as charged. It's very difficult to hear distasteful conversation that I will call distasteful, and usually, things. I'm not even going to try to describe what some of them are, but you can imagine. You're hearing some hard sayings. You hear somebody say something that is just so off color, so just inappropriate in normal situations. It would be inappropriate. But here you are. You're practicing practicing tolerance, and you're gonna listen. You're gonna hear it. I'm gonna hear it, and I'm not gonna react. I'm not going to react. And then when you finish, I'm going to respond. And because I use that patience and that understanding and that acceptance, which I chose to do. Nobody made me do it. I chose to do it. I could have said, "Hold up. End of conversation. I don't need to hear this," and walked away, But if I stand there and listen to them through the harsh things, or the things that would make me cringe, or have to bite my tongue, or whatever, then I can if I get it all, and I've chosen to listen to it and with acceptance and try to understand, then I'm going to come out on the winning end, even if I go home later and just say, "I can't believe that I stood there and I listened to that, and I can't." And I actually, if I did that, I think that I would feel proud of myself, because I would say, "Gosh, I'm getting better at being this tolerance thing." Because 2 years ago, if that person had had the same conversation, I would have been probably flying off the handle, cursing them out, throwing them out, leaving them and telling them they were horrible, whatever, da 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 da. But look, I've matured, and I've grown, and I can hear harsh things, and I can hear it, and I can respond to it rather than react, rather than acting out my feelings. I can hear it, hear the whole thing, and and you know what? I guarantee you, I could probably come back with a response that would cause that person to hear me out, and give that person something to walk away with, to ponder. And just maybe, if nothing else, I've planted a seed. Because if I plant a seed through reaction, usually, they probably didn't hear you after the first, swear word, okay? But if you're speaking calmly and intelligently and for the purpose of being heard and being accepted, that person's going to receive it, especially if you've given them that same respect beforehand. It's kind of a tit for tat thing. So anyway, tolerance look like. How does tolerance look when you're wearing it? It looks like a person that can stand there and hear hard things without reacting, listening with respect, facing that person. And my grandmother said, you look a person in the eye when that person is speaking to you and you're speaking to that person. So you're looking that person in the eye, contact and you're confident and you're comfortable and you're not, making all kind of faces when they say whatever they say. You heard something terrible or you heard something that, you would have washed your kid's mouth out with, but you just don't react. You just listen. You listen. That takes practice. Don't expect to happen overnight. Don't expect to, to sit and listen to someone that usually you sit back and you're in the break room at lunch or whatever, and you sit back and you hear this obnoxious person speaking every day, and you just, like, I can't believe that he's talking that way, and if I'm just, and then then you're gonna have a conversation with them, and you're already ready for him because you already said, I can't believe, So you get an opportunity to practice. You can get an opportunity to practice a little bit of practice your tolerance skills and build that up, and just remember that you're patient. You are understanding. You're listening for understanding. You're respecting that person. You're honoring that person. I ain't agreeing with you. I'm not agreeing with you. I'm not here to agree. I'm just here to listen. I'm going to give you that opportunity just to say what you need to say. I'm not going to react to it. I'm going to hear you out. And then after you're done, I'm going to share, maybe. And I'm going to share in a response rather than a reaction. Because when you listen with understanding, you get understanding, you respond. You do not react. You do not react. And if you do react, it's a milder reaction. Because again, tolerance is not something that it's not something that comes natural for us. It really doesn't. And very few people it comes natural for. I don't know, maybe Dalai Lama was one person. My grandmother was pretty tolerant. I had an aunt, Sophie, that she was very, very tolerant. She would, she could hear, the crazy guys that she lived on the street where, all the crazy, the neighborhood the charmers of the neighborhood, they would stop in and, talk to her, and they were come in, maybe they were soused a little bit, drinking a little too much or whatever, but they would come in and they would sit down and talk to her, and she talked to them just like they were the preacher that came to sit down at her table, and she listened to them. And I've seen her do it so many times, watched her do it so many times, that I was just always amazed at her. And she always had that smile, that little smile on her face, and she received everybody the same way. Everybody the same way. The dirty old drunk that stopped in to see her and slurring all over the place and spilling the coffee all over her tablecloth. She was always just received them the same way. She was one of the most tolerant people in my personal experience in my life. But there's other folk that you can probably think about and name them too. And I would encourage you, if you know someone that is tolerant, think about the characteristics and how they carry themselves and how and even how they look at the person as they're speaking to them or talking or listening to them. Because to me, watching my aunt was a remarkable, and I did this when I was younger. It was always amazing to me, because I was like, why did she throw him out? He's spit coffee all over a tablecloth, and he's slurring all over the place, and he's saying all kind of silly stuff. Why didn't she just tell him to go home, But she would sit there, and then he would finish, and you come back now, you just come back and see me, whatever, like, to put him out and don't let him come back. But she was, I'm absolutely promise you that she treated absolutely everyone that crossed her threshold, her doorway. She treated them all the same. I mean, right down to the kids, right down to us. She treated us all the same. We would, she was very receptive of us and listened to us and had the same responses and the same expressions as she responded to us. So that's a tolerant person. So if you can find somebody like that in your life, I would encourage you to study them, just, sit down and have a conversation with them and watch how they do it and watch their mannerisms and their facial expression. And usually a tolerant person don't really change their expression too much. And if they do, it's in a receptive kind of way rather than, oh my God, I can't believe you said that, kind of a shocking way. It's always a receptive. They're always being receptive of what you're saying, and they're lean. And something that I notice about people that are a little bit more tolerant than me, they kind of lean toward you. They kind of lean toward you. rather than, oh my God, let me get far away as I can, sitting way back here. But they kind of try to close the space up a little bit between the person. So there's a little bit of body language in acceptance and tolerance. Tolerance and understanding. There's a little bit of body language in there too. But the main things is just being just allowing and willing and choosing to be tolerant. And once you've made up your mind that your intention is to be a tolerant person, to be a tolerant in this particular whatever situation you're in, then that's a great start. That's a great start, because even if you get halfway there and you blow it, it's possible for you to do it again and get a little bit further along the game next time. So practice it. Practice tolerance. Practice it for yourself. Demonstrate it. Do it with your kids. Kids are great at doing it, because kids will say the darndest things and they will shock the crap out of you if you really. And you can just kind of like, honey, really, did you mean that? Did you say, just. And then you're teaching them as well. That's what those teachable moments too, with the family and the kids. So, and with your family and your friends, make it just deliberately make it a conscious habit. And again, it's something that you really have to do consciously. You have to really, consciously do it, because it's not something that's dropped into our subconscious that we do just subconsciously. We just don't. We subconsciously intolerate. We just consciously intolerable. We don't tolerate folk. We do that subconsciously. So to change that, it's going to take some time and effort, and some deliberation, and some real intention. I think that's all I'm going to share on behavior, because it's 8:00. Yay! Thanks for being with me. Next week, we're going to still talk about a little bit more about tolerance. I'm thinking we're going to maybe talk about the other side, how it intolerant. The characteristics. Are we going to take a look at the things that we do and the behaviors and how we act that where we're not demonstrating tolerance? We're going to talk a little bit about that, and we're going to kind of compare the two, maybe that the following week. Anyway, so thanks for being with me. Practice your tolerance, deliberately, consciously, intentionally, with deliberation and purpose. Go out and tolerate somebody this week. Tolerate somebody until I see you next week, and hopefully you can drop me and inbox me and tell me how successful you were. And my audience she was happy. So thanks a lot for being with me. I love you guys. And I am going to learn to be much more tolerant of all of you, okay? So have a great week. God bless you. And remember, next Thursday, Conscious Creators Toolbox. Fine-tune your creative abilities and your creative powers. I love you, and see you next time. Good night.